If you've struggled with stress, balance, or burnout, and simply feel discouraged or even defeated, and if you're ready to move from force to flow and enjoy ultimate Zen success in your career, health, or relationships, then the Zen Success Show is for you. Your host, Carissa Sims, is an entrepreneur, corporate consultant, best-selling author, meditation teacher, and healer who has found her own Zen success. Here's your host, Carissa Sims.
Welcome to this week's episode of Zen Success. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Acharya Shunya. Now, Acharya means master teacher, and Shunya is truly a master. So we'll learn more about her. Acharya Shunya is a truth teller who facilitates authenticity, self-remembrance, and divine feminine pathways to awakening within. The first female head of her 2,000-year-old Indian spiritual lineage, Shunya reinterprets and recontextualizes ancient teachings for modern times, empowering people everywhere to lead fearless, fulfilled, and enlightened lives. She is the president of Awakened Self Foundation and founder of Vedika Global in California, and is the author of best-selling books, Ayurveda Lifestyle Wisdom and Sovereign Self. Welcome, Shunya.
Thank you. It's such a delight to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And it's so great to learn about your first name, you being a master teacher, because I was going to call you that, through this whole interview. So thank you for correcting me that it's your title. The first question I had is, what does it mean to roar like a goddess?
Well, I chose this title for my latest book because this is Diwali crackers.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm in India and Diwali was the day before yesterday. But
I was thinking it was Monday. Yeah, day before yesterday. Yeah. That's right. A Monday.
I think these are the last. Maybe somebody has left over. It's unbelievable. They're just continuing. It was silent until now.
Just for our interview is a celebration. Oh my gosh. In a way, it's kind of funny, but it's also like, okay, a divine interruption, a celebration. Yesterday was a powerful day too. The new moon. Wow.
Yeah, it's been, so I'm in India currently.
Okay.
And I celebrated Diwali here.
Yeah. And how was that?
Yeah. It's terrific. I was surrounded by lots and lots of people. And it was quiet until now, until someone on the street said, I have some leftover fireworks in there.
Yeah. And
it's become quiet again.
Okay.
Shall we try?
We'll see. Yeah, we could try.
If it happens again, then I'm going to request that we reschedule.
Yeah, that sounds good.
When India is quieter.
And that does happen sometimes. What part of India are you in right now?
I am in northern India. I'm in Delhi, actually.
In Delhi, yeah. Okay, I've been there.
I'm from a very small town where my ashram is, but I'm visiting Delhi right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. And what's the name of your town that you're from?
Ayodhya.
Oh, okay.
Where Lord Rama was born. It's a holy city.
Okay. Beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to ask you, what does it mean to roar like a goddess?
In my newest book, Roar Like a Goddess, I have thought that what would the authentic voice of women sound like if we stop placating and seducing and explaining and manipulating and doubting ourselves? What would that voice be like? And I felt like it would be so authoritative. It would be like a roar that's heard in the jungle. And so roaring is definitely a woman who's empowered to her opinions and to what she believes is the truth that must be expressed. And the goddess part is just how I compare a modern woman to archetypes from ancient India. We have legends where goddesses were bold, unapologetic. They called a spade a spade. They led big, beautiful, pleasure-filled, and dharma-led lives. And so this book is born, and this invitation to women worldwide to roar like a goddess.
I love that invitation. And some of the goddesses like Lakshmi, what are some of the goddesses of ancient that you know of that really roared like a goddess that we can embody?
In my book, I talk mainly about three goddesses. Well, a couple more, but the three main goddesses are Durga, Lakshmi, and Saraswati. And Durga is often known as the warrior goddess because she does not hesitate to channel her rage. And in fact, I talk about how raging is a goddess thing to do because for too long we have learned to suppress and suffocate our rage, or at the least question it or feel guilty about it. Mm-hmm. But Durga has no such qualms. And she rages when dharma, or what is good and truthful and righteous for all beings, is violated. And when she channels her rage, she sets things right. Just like when we channel our rage with our wrong eating, we embark on a healthy diet plan. So that rage is necessary to make corrections because it informs us of what's not okay. And so Durga is a goddess I talk about to restore our power. And then I talk about Lakshmi, and I love this goddess because she teaches us how to lead lives with pleasure, with joy, with wholeness, with self-compassion, self-care, self-honoring, self-esteem, self-respect. And I feel like all of us need this. And finally, there's goddess Saraswati, and she is the goddess of wisdom, intuition, spiritual learning, introspection, meditation, greater insights, an inward movement, a higher quest. And that goddess is also necessary for empowered living because you know how it is. We women get involved in the transactional relationships and in our roles as moms and wives and sisters and daughters or partners, and we forget that we have a greater purpose, and we may have a goddess-like self within that we want to discover and connect with. And these goddesses, they give me enough content to reimagine what I can become and to have hope for my future self. And I utilize them, and now I bring them forward for the entire world.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's interesting. Sometimes I do spiritual healings, and sometimes I've never had Saraswati come in, but Lakshmi has come in on my healings before. And yeah, it's so beautiful. I feel like a lot of these ancient goddesses want to come and help us now. And channeling your wisdom and their wisdom through your book could be one of the ways we could embody them instead of, I just feel like they don't necessarily want us to worship them. They want us to learn from them and embody their essence. Do you feel that?
You said it so beautifully, and thank you for saying it. And I grew up in a tradition worshiping them. My entire country and people worldwide worship goddesses, really. But I want to think like a goddess.
Mm-hmm.
I want to roar like a goddess because Durga used to roar. And I want to roar. I want to be a goddess in a corporate room. I want to be a goddess when I'm lovemaking. I want to be a goddess when I'm being a mom to my son. And that's why I have in my own work brought the goddesses down a few notches to mix with us humans, and I've elevated us humans to a greater goddess, a divine feminine consciousness. And so this book is more than just waiting for miracles. We are the miracle, and it's unfolding it, and it's high time. And I really hope that women who are waiting to be rescued by a man or a goddess learn to bring some kind of liberation to their own beliefs and live the life they were meant to lead.
Yeah, that's beautiful. How old is your son?
He is 27.
Oh, beautiful. And do you have other children?
I have a couple of dog children.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, I have a dog child too. She's actually scratching to get in right now, but I'm not going to let her in. Tell me about your spiritual lineage.
I was fortunate to be born in a family that has been distinguished in the plains of northern India for several centuries. In fact, we are an ancient culture, and it's not hard for us to trace our ancestry a couple of hundred years in most families. And because mine is exceptional, we have been teachers and spiritual leaders. We've been written about, talked about, we've been revered and looked up to. Our history goes back 2,000 years. And this may seem unbelievable in America, but it is entirely believable in India. And my remote ancestors were famous seers, and my immediate ancestors too. My grandfather, who was my guru, my great-grandfather, my father, they're all really renowned and remarkable people. And interestingly, we've had this all-male lineage, where a male teacher, a bloodline, we passed on the baton to the next person. And I am the first female that was chosen. And I think my guru knew that the 21st century will need a compassionate woman and also a broken woman, because I identify with my brokenness too. Though I've had a privileged life, I have not been immune to the subtle games that are played with women, folk in general, and how I've had to work harder to earn my title, to keep it, to demonstrate that I'm worthy of it, just because I'm a woman. And then on the world stage, where I have students from every part of the world, I have found that patriarchy doesn't just dwell in feudal cultures. It's everywhere. It's ubiquitous. It just changes form. And what it does is that it forces men, women and men and people of other genders, non-binary genders, to behave in artificial ways. We're not able to channel the goddess energy. We're not able to live by her wisdom. We're not able to love and become lovable. We're broken and we break each other. And I want to live in a world where every new child, no matter what their gender, is a goddess spark. And there is this feminine collaborative power that is operating amidst us, instead of this masculine version of haves and have-nots, and worthy and unworthy, and those who can sit on the first table and those who have to be in the peripheral somewhere else. And I wanted to live in that world. I didn't get it when I became an adult. Once I left the cocoon of my family that believed in me and chose me, I met a lot of non-believers, non-supporters. I walked into a marriage that
was it arranged?
That threw me off my
oh
yeah, completely.
It was arranged. Yeah.
It was semi-arranged, in the sense that the person saw me. I didn't know them, and in India that can happen. Like somebody sees you and then they propose to your family, not you.
Yeah, they think because you're a beautiful woman and, someone can see, and you also have a lot of light. So, because of your enlightened nature, I feel like you've also, you're reincarnated of some spiritual leader also. Do you ever feel that way? Like you're reincarnated?
I have been wiser than my age always.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm so glad to grow old finally. Because
because you had so much wisdom.
To catch up with my spirit, that whatever I'm channeling,
and people can take you seriously, believe you, and not think you're just a child. But
once I start speaking, teaching, healing, everyone takes me seriously.
Yes.
The beauty gets in the way at times, but now I don't think it gets in the way.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
But the beauty is Lakshmi.
It does get in the way.
Lakshmi.
Yeah.
The knowledge is Saraswati, and my power and presence is Durga. And probably because you're so tuned in with the goddesses, I'm always surrounded by them, and you could probably experience that,
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Even writing of this book, I didn't, like, my ego didn't choose to write it. She, the great goddess, asked me to. Start.
Yeah. Amazing. This is so blowing me away. And also it's getting me to think about my daughter differently, because she roars like a goddess. She is uninhibited. She will scream and shout for what she wants. And to be honest, our family is a little intimidated by her and her power. And I don't mean to laugh, but I just think, we're going to talk about this, but I think society can sometimes feel like upset, or someone shouldn't scream or, use their voice. And she just does it intuitively. So she's 7. Yeah. And we allow her to be that, we don't punish her or anything for sharing her voice, but it's just making me proud of her. Like you're making me proud of her, your book. I need to be more like her. You know what I mean?
She's a gift. My son was like that. My son was, from a typical definition, he was a rebel, but I always knew that he's a leader.
Yes.
And at a very young age, my son is providing dharmic leadership to good causes, and he's a self-starter. And I never squashed his leadership potential, but sometimes when we are children and teenagers, we don't know how to flow it, and so it comes out in uncomfortable ways. But perhaps if you read those stories from the book to your daughter, because my mother would tell me these stories when I was 7, and she'd play act. And because in the book there is not just the power, but also the harmony and the beauty of the goddesses that come through.
Yeah.
I think I hope that this book will help this 7-year-old. I've also been asked by my publishers to create a version for little girls, which may be coming up soon, because my publishers believe that this book should be read by young growing girls and people who identify with the feminine gender, so that they can accept themselves more, and the caregivers can understand them more and allow them free passage to blossom into who they're meant to be.
Oh, I love that. And, I'm a children's book author, and my kids have written children's books, and we've all published our books. I would love to help you with that. That would be incredible.
I think I'm going to pull you into my resource pool.
Okay.
That's wonderful to know.
Yeah, I would love to.
I'll look up your books. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. My books were inspired by my children and the Chinese astrology. So my first book was Kinley the Water Dragon. And Yeah. And I love unicorns. So I wrote another book about that. But I haven't written anything about deep spirituality. And this is like what I do, teaching meditation. And it would just be amazing. That would be so wonderful to have my daughter read this book about to feel empowered and feel accepted for who she is. And then also for my husband and my son, because my son feels a little bit threatened by her. And so they butt heads, so she has to stand up for herself a lot every day, pretty much from her brother. But let's go back to your book. So how do you interpret ancient teachings for modern times, for the time that we're in?
Well, I'm a scholar of the ancient scriptures. I've not only heard goddess mythology and stories from my mother, my guru. I grew up in a culture that celebrates these stories, but I've also read scriptures which talk about the goddess, and I started noticing some trends here, that the goddess was more bold and more real and more authentic than anyone I knew. And if I had to find a role model, these goddesses were amazing. And because I knew their stories inherently, sometimes when I was about to zip up my speech, I'd speak up because I'd remember a story where one of the goddesses had spoken up, had dared to face brutal oppression or the ask to submit, and they didn't, provided it was right. And excuse me for these sounds, but I'm in India right now, and there is some Diwali celebration going on, so there might be a few fireworks here and there, which kind of support our fiery podcast right now.
Exactly. I was like, it's in alignment with the celebration.
Yeah, totally. So I started, and then I've been a spiritual teacher, bringing forward Hindu non-dual wisdom known as Vedic wisdom, yogic wisdom, Ayurveda, which is a path of healing, to
I love Ayurveda
from pretty much all continents for the last 2 decades. So I'd had these students who had shared their stories, and I had been using these goddess archetypes and goddess wisdom to help them. And I saw them blossoming and and shifting and changing and morphing. And then I knew somewhere that, probably this goddess wisdom needs to come out. And then I was just sitting on it because I have so much other stuff that I teach, and I had, a full life teaching, bringing those knowledge systems, until we have a 9-day goddess festival in India known as Navaratri, the 9 nights of the goddess. And on the 6th night 2 years ago, I was working on an Ayurveda book, and my hands froze, and I knew I had to start a new page, and I knew the goddess wanted me to write about her. And then Roar Like a Goddess was born, and I've been teaching about her and talking about her to modern women, to modern situations, from divorce to the Me Too movement to, to the internalized oppression where we sometimes willingly take a second seat, on the world stage.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing now. Yeah.
That's wonderful. And how has your book and talks been received?
Oh my God. Yeah. Wonderfully. Just, it's so timely. That's what I'm told. The book has been a bestseller, of course, and it's getting a lot of media and press, and it has its own trajectory. In fact, I'm quite relaxed. The book just is just, the goddess got it. She's taking care of it, and it's reaching the people it needs to. And I'm getting emails from different parts of the world because there was a global release in September, and I'm surprised at the women who are. I'm surprised at how far the book has reached, and how many cultures it has penetrated, and how many people feel an affinity with this truth, because it's not Hindu truth or a culturalized truth. It is a universal truth. And it's asking us to step up into our divine immensity and own it and roar from that place.
Yes. Woo! I feel it. Give a little roar. Oh, and a firework for us.
And firework.
So tell me about your first marriage. You touched on it a little bit. They saw you and they asked your family to for your hand in marriage.
My guru was an intuitive, enlightened person, and I think he almost knew that I will lose myself in this relationship. But he didn't. But he was the kind of teacher who just kind of makes you think yourself rather than mandating what you should do and should not do.
That's the best guru there is.
Yeah, that's a guru. Whereas the rest of the family were just happy, like, let's get her these new clothes and let's, put the lights out and, the typical Indian big wedding. And I walked into a setup where there were all these expectations over a millennia waiting for me. And I had all this knowingness that, wait, that's nice, but that's not what I am. I just knew it. I'm not born to do this. Yeah. I'm just not born to do it. And these were my thoughts. And they were like, I'm 20 something. And if I just enunciate them like, oh no, I'm not born to do this. It sounds so arrogant and so out of place. And it's like, wait. Right. Are we born to serve you and you're not born to wash one cup or saucer? Mm-hmm. And I was not trying to say that. What I was trying to say is that my swadharma, or my life purpose, is to decode the scriptures and teach the scriptures. Mm-hmm. And I must have a supportive partner who has his own thing and we're equals. Yeah. And which is what I have now. The life I have now is exactly what I knew I was meant to be leading. And where is this? What alley is this? Mm-hmm. I don't recognize this alley where all is well as long as I toe the line. And I didn't toe the line naturally.
Yeah, because you wanted to make your family happy. And so the day of your wedding, how did you feel?
I felt at the top of the world, as most women do. I wasn't coerced into a marriage because I belonged to a very spiritually progressive family. But it was my temporary belief system that this is what's going to complete me. And I talk about how in the book, we inhale the virus of codependency. We inhale it. You can be born in a very illustrious family. Yeah. And then your hormones plus your 20 years of age plus the culture. Yes. Which says that a man completes a woman. Yes. You just buy it hook, line, and sinker. Yeah. Then you try and make it happen. And so you go through self-sabotage and self-abandonment to somehow be that ideal person. Except that I didn't try too hard because I'd had this other education where I knew that something's not right. It did end up hurting my son, who was an infant. Oh, and okay. It caused deep cracks in a relationship with my child for a while until he grew up and understood and appreciates his mother's decisions. Oh, yes. And at the same time, this self-abandonment and then reclaiming myself with a capital S was necessary for me to be the teacher today. Mm-hmm. For me to not pretend that all is well and celibacy is the way to go and, you have to be holy rather than whole. Right. Yeah. It really makes me a real teacher, and probably that's the reason these books of mine, each one of them has done so well, and why why the goddess helps me for my truth and vulnerability at the same time.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And so, was there a moment in the marriage that you realized he was suppressing you, or you suppressed your voice? What was that moment?
I think there was not one moment, but a series of moments
Hmm.
where I knew that I was not roaring.
Yeah.
And if anybody is to be blamed, it's my guru and my mother. They raised me as this roaring daughter and as this next leader of a lineage. And it was almost like ironical that I would walk into this marriage, because we are a lineage where many lineages from India, Hindu lineages, are monastic. We are a non-monastic. We are called a householder lineage. We take on marriage partners or lovers. We have to pay a double tax. We have to live in the world, suffer, and we have to be enlightened at the same time. And so it was almost like a classroom, I think. And I think my guru knew
Mm.
that there will be a period of time when I will lose myself in trying to fit these roles that I was not spiritually or societally through my family groomed for.
Hmm.
But I walked into it and I left with, I would say I left with minimum damage because I had these goddess stories in me. So I wasn't traumatized forever or something like that. I could pick myself up, I could come back and roar, and I could be grateful to my ex-husband who's a friend now and
Beautiful.
and be able to really claim who I'm meant to be able to go back and look. There's a Sanskrit saying which says that a lion, when he walks away with all his lionhood, turns around and surveys the jungle that he has left behind. And I feel like I'll turn around and look with great royalty. And I'm like, yeah, I've been there, done that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I can help other people who are stuck in alleys.
Mm. Beautiful. So, how old was your son when you left?
Oh, just a baby. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, how long were you married?
I was really only married for a couple of years,
Oh, that's
and I
good.
lived with my partner for even less of time
Yeah.
because I came and then I moved back to my family because I just knew that while I want to respect these set of people, if I stay any longer, I'll stop respecting myself.
Wow. I would say that's very fast and good for you, even with a baby, and that you went and you
Yeah, it
trusted.
was very bold. It was
Yeah.
bold for me to do that in the India 40 years ago,
Yeah.
35, 40 years ago.
Uh-huh.
India is much more progressive now.
Yeah.
And divorce, even in America, is frowned upon.
Yeah.
And,
But especially in India, I mean, it's more
especially in
stigma.
India.
Yeah.
But there is a part of me that makes me a teacher is like, once I get this inner clarity, then I will face any consequence.
Hmm.
That fortitude in me is from some past life.
Yes,
Really.
absolutely. And then the other reason, yeah, this was like your school, like you said, this marriage, but your son, this beautiful gift that he is to the world now. It's like that, even though the marriage didn't work out, it was for your growth and your son, and just to have this amazing life now. It's amazing. So, what does it mean to have a marriage rooted in patriarchy?
Can you ask your question again?
Oh, yeah. So, I'll just ask another question. What's the issue with a patriarchal marriage?
patriarchal marriage as well as patriarchal relationships have very set roles for men and women. And even in America, I find that if men and women are both earning, we find that women come back and do more chores in the household, or they raise babies, where a man can open a can of beer and sit down. There is this, the problem with patriarchy is that it's a narrative that we've all somewhere subconsciously agreed to, which is a false narrative of superiority of one gender over another. And not only is the female gender secondary, and people of non-binary genders or gender expansive bodies don't even count. And this is a scenario that's so obviously not right that we need to grow out of it. But now women are raising voices. For example, in Iran, women are out on the streets. This is the first time this has happened. It's really exciting. And in America, while in some states abortion has been banned, women are not taking it lying down. And I feel like if we keep up this roaring in different ways, give it another 150 to 200 years, and we're out of this nightmare that we've all signed up to somewhere. And with patriarchy comes this internalized misogyny, where we somewhere give up on ourselves, where we somewhere scold ourselves. This is the birth of how a woman's hair should shine, how she should cross her feet and sit, how she should walk, how she should talk. There's so much deliberation on how a woman should be that her spirit cannot come through. And while you called me beautiful, thank you, I acknowledge that I have a certain physical attributes that look attractive, but I have gone through periods of time where I don't brush my hair, or I've gained way too much weight, or I have not chosen to look appealing because I was lost in contemplation or a meditative trance, or I'm writing a book like Sovereign Self, which is so deep that I needed to be somewhere else inside me. And to be able to do all of that, I had to go beyond my body and into this place which is the pure self, the pure spirit, which, you do that when you channel and you heal. You go beyond being your children's mom and your partner's wife to touch something universal and eternal in you. And cultures and in the planetary culture where patriarchy abides, a woman is rarely able to do that. Even if you look at all the images of yogi, it's always like a male yogi sitting under a tree, meditating. And we have this celibate Buddha, which is like everybody's hero. And I love the Buddha, but we don't have those female role models who can have wild hair and crazy days and weight that's in the wrong places of the body, and yet they are venerated for just who they are. And at least I want to live in a world like that. So in my life, I live like that, the way I want to. And the change begins with you. So I started that change. And I hope my presence, my writing, my teachings, my voice gives permission to other women too to explore who they are even beyond their gender. To first embrace their gender and then go beyond their gender into this place where there is eternalness. That's been my desire.
Yeah, That's amazing what you said about your beauty. And I'm just taking it in. And it's just interesting because I see your inside beauty. I don't just see your
Of
outside
course, of
beauty.
course.
And it's just interesting because like society, when you say to someone they're pretty or they're beautiful, it's like society thinks it's about the appearance. And when I say that to someone, what I mean is their soul. Their soul is beautiful. Your soul shines out from you like the sun.
And that vision that you have, I hope we all have for each other and ourselves, because that's what is sorely missing.
Mm,
Because for a while there, I can tell you, dear friend, that when I was lost in that marriage, I would dress a certain way, I would look a certain way.
mm-hmm.
We all get there, and I have so many students who do that. They lose touch, they lose that vision which you are talking about.
Yeah, and it's not their fault. I mean, no one
Not
really
their fault.
teaches
Yeah,
that
it's
except
not
for
their
you.
fault.
You teach that. But yeah, they don't always have a teacher like you in their life, you know. So I wanted to go back to your experience and your lessons. How do you feel like you lost your voice? Do you mean like you would dress a certain way and you'd want to appear like everything was fine in your marriage?
So for the voice, for it to be a roar, it has to be first and foremost truthful or straightforward, like connected, like your thoughts, your feelings, your speech, they should be aligned. There's a Sanskrit word called arjavam, which means they're aligned like an arrow. But when we start pleasing people for survival, for points that you're a good wife, good daughter-in-law, good
Mm-hmm.
girl, good person, we
A lot of
start
people
like,
have that.
there
Yeah.
is no alignment between what you're really feeling, what you're really speaking, what you're really thinking. And this begins the process of self-deception. And this is where you start losing the voice. Because for a while there, the soul speaks to you. The goddess like self speaks to you. She guides you from within. But the more you are playing you're hustling in your relationships, whether you live in the east or the west, north or the south, if you're caught up in the hustle of, keeping things in status quo, pleasing people, or letting them hear what they can say, or like measuring your words to a point makes sense, but excessively, you're measuring every word you say for its impact. It may be that you have now lost your voice, which not only means that you can't speak your truth, but there's something worse. You can't hear your truth.
Ooh.
That's the more painful part. Because
Yeah,
if you can't, yeah, right. If you can't speak it, it's fine, but at least you should know it.
yeah.
And if you don't know it, you're lost.
Well, and another issue is that you may hear that voice and not follow it. And that happens a lot for women too, just like not trusting. And I do it too. It's in my own life, not trusting that inner voice and guidance, and not following through with it or thinking it's important and listening to it. So yeah, I mean, some people don't hear it as loudly, but some people hear it and choose not to do it.
Yeah, and I also had periods when I wouldn't listen to it. And after a while, it stops talking to you. That's a
That's a
scary
good point.
part. That's
That's
the
a good
scary
point.
part. And now I listen to it so much that if I don't listen to it, like I heard it and I don't follow through,
Uh-huh.
I get physically sick. I'm like choking. I can't. And there is People think that speaking the truth requires aggression. It doesn't. Speaking the truth requires conviction, not aggression. I speak the truth softly, persuasively, calmly, but I won't stop. I will say it. And I'm the softest speaker when I'm delivering the hardest truth. And
It
that
makes
is a
people
permission.
listen. Yeah. It makes
Sorry?
people listen more too. When you
Yeah, they
speak
do. They
softly
do. Yeah.
about powerful truths.
Yeah, I've uncoupled anger from truth. I don't need to be angry to deliver the truth. Do it peacefully,
Yeah.
not violently.
Yeah. Because then you feel it with an open heart, and you don't like, because sometimes people can get a little bit like, oh, wow, with the anger or raised voice. And I mean, obviously you don't want to have that energy when you're delivering something powerful. So that's amazing. That's amazing. So what made you want to find your voice again after
The suffering.
the suffering?
Because unfortunately, when I had suppressed the voice, or the voice had become suppressed, lost inside me, because I was busy in a fight mode or a flight mode or a freeze mode, dealing with rejection, dealing with things that were uncomfortable in my relationship, in my marriage, first marriage. Fortunately, I wasn't just a regular girl. I feel sorry for girls who are unprepared, and that's why they stay in toxic relationships so long. I already had training in the scriptures, in yoga, in Ayurveda, in Vedanta from my guru. And as a result, I knew that due to some difficult karma that I had to complete, I have walked into this difficult set of circumstances. But karma is by no means a jail. Karma just requires a judicious response. And my response was, thank you. Thank you, but no thank you. I won't hurt you back. I won't jail you, but I'm not going to accept this jail as my destiny. Nor am I going to accept the shame and blame. And I'm going to keep growing. And I didn't know words like feminism back then, because my English was functional. 35 years ago. Now it's my first language, but back then it wasn't. It was something I learned at school, but it was not something I spoke all the time. And so I didn't know any of these things. What am I doing? Like, I'm standing up for myself. I didn't know all this. I just knew that I had to listen to this urgent voice that said, leave. And I followed. And I'm really glad that I listened to this voice, and she's a very good voice.
Yay, and honor her. So why is now the time for women to roar with all their spiritual power and embrace the gifts of wisdom, peace, and inner freedom?
One, it's easier to roar. Like, look at your podcast. There's just so much support for us. There are women who are roaring in every corner of the world in small and big ways. So it's easy to roar, and you'll hear a complimentary roar somewhere on the planet. You're not this lone voice. So I feel like if I had walked into a bad marriage, or rather a suffocating marriage now than back then, it would have been so easy, like in and out, It wouldn't have left so much impression on me like it did back in, those days. But so it's easier. Two, I feel like there's an urgency because we are making so much progress in other areas that the area where there is not enough light, where there is darkness still lingering and disgusting and ugly and smelly, that darkness needs to go. There is no room for it anymore. And now is also a good time because there are more and more men and more great people of every gender who are supporting the emergence of the feminine gender as a mainstream equal player on our planet. We have so much support now. There are so many great souls in the other genders who are supporting us. So let's take this opportunity and step up.
Yes, let's do it. Well, it's been so amazing connecting with you and hearing all the fireworks behind you.
Vicariously, you were enjoying Indian Diwali.
I know.
Yeah.
I was definitely. I think I was probably Indian in a past life. I really love the
I can
culture.
believe that. Yes.
I really love it. So it's been amazing hearing about your book, Roar Like a Goddess, Every Woman's Guide to Becoming Unapologetically Powerful, Prosperous, and Peaceful. So much Zen success on your journey, Shunya.
Thank you so much.
That's it for today's episode of Zen Success. Head on over to iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you listen to shows. Zen Success is also available on the radio in select markets through amfm247.com. Subscribe to the show and share with friends. Be sure to head on over to zensuccessshow.com to help you on your Zen success journey and join us on the next episode. May you find your own Zen success in life.